Well, certainly won't help his case as he's trying to sort of build up his reputation again. I think that's going to be the case, though, not just for him, for many, many people, many big names, perhaps, even if they aren't accused of wrongdoing. And I'm talking men and women, even if they are accused of wrongdoing, they're definitely going to be accused of complicity. And the fallout from that will be reputational damage.
Now, a judge overseeing the Jeffrey Epstein case has confirmed she will begin releasing documents that could name more than 170 previously anonymous individuals associated with the late sex offender. And the disclosures could throw new light on the sex trafficking network that was directed by Epstein. He, of course, died in 2019. And his one-time girlfriend, the British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, has been imprisoned. Well, the disgraced millionaire Epstein mixed with high-profile figures, and Prince Andrew and former US President Bill Clinton are amongst those who are expected to be named. Well, let's talk to Barbara Shearer, who is an award-winning documentary filmmaker and director and executive producer of Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's Shadow, and executive producer for Banished, Prince Andrew, and joins us now. Good evening to you, Barbara.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Well, really good to speak to you. People listening here in the UK who may not have followed this case very closely may have thought that this case against Jeffrey Epstein, who died in 2019, was over. So just tell us what are these documents that are being released, as we understand it, just as we speak.
Yes, I just saw that as well. So it's important to specify that this is a case file of hundreds of documents that were accrued in the civil case between Virginia Giuffre versus Ghislaine Maxwell. So it's a very specific case when she was suing Ghislaine Maxwell for defamation in 2015 after Ghislaine Maxwell called her a liar when Virginia Giuffre, one of the victims of Epstein, stated that she was sexually abused by both Epstein and Maxwell. So this was a case that then was resolved or settled, I should say, by Epstein. And that is the document that we're going to be seeing, in which there's about over thousands of pieces of evidence that will be reviewed. And many of these names beforehand were redacted. So the document drop then is going to have things like flight logs and emails and message pads from his various residences, depositions from people like Sarah Kellen, who was an assistant and perhaps possibly once a victim. And also, house managers of his various residences and pilots and things like that. So it really is a large cache of documents with a lot of names that will be involved in that.
And of course, there will be huge interest on any of the documents relating to Virginia Giuffre, because it was she who claimed that she was trafficked and spent time with Prince Andrew. And Prince Andrew then, of course, reached that out-of-court settlement.
That's right. Yes. And so he will definitely be a name like Clinton. I shouldn't say definitely. We don't know, but likely we will see those names in this document drop. Again, no big surprise, though, because these names have been out and about in public domain for years now. Regardless of the denials, we know that these names have been bandied about for years. So that won't be a surprise. And Virginia Giuffre has been specifically, whether it's a civil lawsuit or not, has been very open about who the associates of Epstein and Maxwell were.
So could there be more potentially difficult, embarrassing, or even incriminating material about Prince Andrew in these documents?
I don't know if it could get any more embarrassing than it already has been. It's hard to say, actually, because like I said, she was pretty forthcoming and we heard a lot already about that case. What he did was just settle it to let it go away. But a lot was already said publicly. So I'm not sure if there'll be any more, but it certainly won't help his case as he's trying to sort of build up his reputation again. I think that's going to be the case, though, not just for him, for many, many people, many big names, perhaps, even if they aren't accused of wrongdoing. And I'm talking men and women, even if they are accused of wrongdoing, they're definitely going to be accused of complicity. And the fallout from that will be reputational damage.
And what does all of this mean for Ghislaine Maxwell?
Well, it can't help her case anymore. I mean, really, she's paying the price right now for her involvement.
She's in prison, right?
Right. She's in prison and she's convicted of 20 years in Florida right now. But I don't think it can't get any worse, put it that way.
And for the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, is it still, do you think, important for them that all the details do come out?
I think there's two sides to that. That's a great question, because I think what I'm hearing anyways, some of the victims will feel relief and vindication, there's no question, of things that they've been saying for years. And then to have these names come out in legal documents. But other victims who have remained anonymous by choice because of fear, because of the fact that some of the victims went on to become assistants and associates of Epstein for years. So it will not help them, and they do not want to be named.